Welcome to another day in Kuala Lumpur. I've got quite a few things to do today, all kind of ordinary city things, but I hope as I do them, I can see some interesting things in Kuala Lumpur as I walk around. So come along with me. And since I'm going to be traveling around the city a little bit, I thought I'd make another little journey by MRT and LRT. I feel bad from the last video when I made such a big deal about buying tickets and how to get into the MRT. I never actually showed the MRT train itself. I totally forgot. So the first thing I'm going to do is go back into the MRT and film the inside of the train. As I mentioned last time, it's MRT stands for Mass Rapid Transit, so it's a bigger train than the LRT. So we're going to take a look at that first, and then later I'm going to go for a ride on an LRT line and show you the difference, and hopefully do like a hyperspeed, hyperlapse journey on the Kelana-Jaya line. And that was the first LRT line in Kuala Lumpur to be fully automated. It's driverless. It's 46.4 kilometers long, making it one of the longest automated LRT systems in the world. It's got 37 stations, and most of those, 31 of them I think, are all above ground. So that makes it a great train to do a hyperlapse on. The actual things that I have to do that have to do with my life are kind of boring. I have to get money and I have to buy a watch. And I'll talk about those later. First, let's go to the MRT and take a look at these big trains. Back in the MRT station. I spared you all the process of buying a token and all that kind of stuff. So we're just heading down to the platform now, which you never really saw last time in full. There's the full platform of the MRT. And a new feature of these systems is that the train tracks are not open at all. The entire line of the platform has a wall there with glass doors that stay sealed until the train arrives. And then these doors open at the same time that the train doors open. And I guess they did that for safety reasons. No one can fall down onto the tracks because we've got this glass door in the way. So as you can see, it's really quite spacious. There's tons of room here. It's midday, so it's not that busy. Probably be a lot busier around rush hour, but even then I don't think it gets that crowded. I'm walking towards the front of the train again. Another great feature about this system is on the sign here. It actually lists the exact minute that a train is coming. So the first train right now is listed as 0 minutes because here it is. It's arriving right now. The next train is in 14 minutes and the next one 21 minutes. Here are the doors opening.
Kepada wanita mengandung, warga emas, dan orang kurang upaya.
And there's the inside of the train. The first thing I noticed when I rode on the MRT the first time is that it just felt much wider than the LRT. There's just a lot more room from one wall to the other. And with the new system, they have a new mapping system, all digital, all electronic. We are here at Pasar Seni, and we're going here, Museum Negara. It's kind of a cool system. All the stations that we've already gone through are red, and the ones that are green are the ones that we're heading towards. And that's what the tunnel looks like at normal speed. I haven't sped this up at all.
Dan KL Monorail. Pintu di sebelah kanan akan dibuka. are now approaching Museum Negara. This is the connecting station to KL Sentral for LRT Kelana-Jaya Line, KTM, ERL, and KL Monorail Line. Exit to the right door.
There we go. And that was traveling one stop from Pasar Seni to Museum Negara. And we're right back where we started from. That whole trip was for no reason. I didn't have to go there at all. I just wanted to get on the MRT and make up for my mistake before of not showing the inside of the MRT car. There it is. And later on we'll take a trip on an LRT and see the difference. My first errand of the day involves that building way over there that says HSBC on the top. And if you haven't heard those letters before, that's a bank. And for some reason, I've had the best luck at this bank in terms of getting money out with my ATM card. And this ATM card business is a whole big story I could go on and on about. How the internet and internet banking and all this sort of stuff is supposed to make our lives easier. And on the face of it, it does, I suppose. Back in the old days when I was traveling, all I could do was traveler's checks and cash. That's it. And cashing traveler's checks, you had to go to a bank, a major bank. You could only do it in major cities. And it took a while. You know, you might go to the bank and an hour and a half later you come out with your money. But the big advantage to that was it always worked. You always could get money. You were never left hanging. Now we have these ATM cards, and with the promise of getting money instantly anywhere in the world, and yet half the time mine doesn't work. Put it in and it just gets spit out, and you get a little message that says contact your bank, which sends you into a panic and your heart starts pounding. And that happens a lot to me. It's gotten so bad with me in banking that I think of money like water now. Like when I'm cycling, whenever I see water, I stock up on it and fill all my bottles because I never know when I'll see water again. And for me, money is like that. Every time I see an ATM machine, I pop in my card just in case it will work, and hopefully I can get some money out. And I kind of stock up on money for that day when I really need money and I try to get some and I can't get any. On the way to the HSBC Bank, we're going to be passing through the Central Market, by the way. There's the gateway into Kasturi Walk. And the Central Market building is right over there. And this little walkway is very popular with tourists. You can get cheap handbags and local snacks and coconuts and that sort of thing. As you can see, a lot of foreigners up here ahead of me. Mango. Another popular snack, sweet corn, durian of course, fresh cut fruits, the Hut Noodle Stop, juice bar, durian. Oh. This is brand new. I haven't seen this before. A good coffee shop, cold brew. And putu bamboo. A special local snack. But all those snacks and drinks are no good to me if I can't get any money. So that's the first step today. It's not just my ATM card that gives me problems, it's always been my credit card too. Every time I try to use it, like to book a flight or something like that, my bank in Canada blocks the transaction. And if you try a couple of times, they freeze the card, freeze the account. I have to get on the phone, figure out how to call the bank in Canada, explain to them that yes, it's me, I'm in Indonesia or I'm in Bangladesh, I'm the one using the card, so please, release the security lock. They do. I can make one transaction, and then the next day even, if I try to use it again, blocked again. Their security protocols are so tight that they have a computer system that monitors for irregularities, and if they see anything unusual, they just shut off your card. And I've tried to tell them that I'm in Asia and I'm traveling, but there's nothing they can do about it. It's like a computer is in control of my life, and they can't control their own computer, and I can't control it. So all I can do is, deal with it day by day. As you walk around this area, you see a lot of money changing places and international money express remittances. And that's because there are so many foreign workers in Malaysia, from Bangladesh, from Nepal, from India, from lots of different countries. They come here to work, and they all have to send money back home, and they have all these businesses that do that. There's another one just across the road, International Money Remittance, and there are 4 or 5 more just along there. I know that this park is popular with foreign workers on the weekend. When they get a day off, they will come here just to relax and hang out, meet their friends, things like that. And there's my nemesis, HSBC. Well, that's not really my nemesis. My nemesis is my own bank. They're the ones always causing the problems. This is my true enemy, the machine that controls my life. Skynet. This is how Skynet starts. Success. I have money. So, success. I got money. I was here at this same bank, same ATM, same everything 2 days ago, and it rejected me and spit out a message saying, contact your bank. And it makes me panic every time that happens, but I've learned that there's nothing really wrong. The computer system controlling my life just decided that that day was not a good day to give me money. Today was a good day. Tomorrow could be a bad day, good day. I just never know. The computers control our lives now. We're in a very interesting spot right now. I don't know if you can hear that water. I'm sure you can. Let me show you where we are. And this is the Masjid Jamek, the Jamek Mosque. And this is the oldest mosque in Kuala Lumpur. And it was the main mosque as well until the National Mosque was opened. I've never gone inside, I've never explored the grounds, so I'm going to do that over the next few days while I'm in Kuala Lumpur. An interesting fact, if I have my history straight, is that the city of Kuala Lumpur was actually founded right here. I forget the year now. I looked it up a long time ago. But tin miners came here. They were digging for tin right at the confluence of these two rivers. There was nothing here but jungle and their tin mine. Most of the men that were running the mine died from various tropical diseases, but eventually the city of Kuala Lumpur grew around the mining operation and became this massive city that we have today. They recently did a major renovation and overhaul of this whole area of the river. They installed all these fountains stretching all the way along here, and they've also built a whole lighting system into these fountains that you can see at night, and they have fog machines. And you never quite know when it's going to happen, but at any point fog will start pouring out of hidden jets and fill this whole river basin. And it's really quite something to see. And that's a very historical part of Kuala Lumpur over there. This giant flagpole is where the flag was raised when Malaysia achieved its independence. I don't know whether it was on that flagpole exactly, but it was in the square over there. There's a big open square where independence was declared. And this sign here is talking about the River of Life project, which is really quite impressive. What they're doing is renovating the entire river along its entire route through Kuala Lumpur. Right here it says that the River of Life project has rejuvenated 10 kilometers of riverfront within the city limits. And I believe they're going to keep going and doing as much as they can. So they're cleaning up everything, renovating everything, putting in fountains and all kinds of information for tourists about the history of Kuala Lumpur and the history of Malaysia. It's quite nice to come out here at night in particular. I mentioned the big square where independence was declared, and that's it right here, Dataran Merdeka. And they've developed what they call a colonial walk all the way around the square with all these colonial buildings. There's galleries, textile museum, post office, High Court, a theater, St. Mary's Cathedral, it's quite historic, Royal Selangor Club. I couldn't remember the name of the other river for a minute, but I found it here. This is the Gombak River, and on this side is the Klang River. And Kuala Lumpur, the city, was founded right in this area where the two rivers meet. And this gentleman here told me that this street is the very first street in Kuala Lumpur. So that's where I'm going to go next. That is the LRT station, the Kelana-Jaya line, and it meets up with another line as well. And I'm going to take a ride on the Kelana-Jaya line, try to get to the front car like I did before, and shoot some video hyperlapse along that line heading south from here. This LRT line, by the way, they started construction on it, I think in 1994, and the first stage was completed in 1998, and it went into full operation in 1999. At that time, it was called the Putra line, P-U-T-R-A. And then another company bought the system, and they changed the name to the Kelana-Jaya line. Let's go take a ride. All right, token for the LRT. We got some LRT action coming up. In we go. I've ridden on this line quite a few times because there are a set of bicycle shops and camping gear stores down this way on this line. And when I first came here from the Philippines, my bicycle had been nearly destroyed in a typhoon there. All my camping gear was destroyed, all that kind of stuff. So I decided to fly to Malaysia and to Kuala Lumpur because I knew I could buy a lot of this stuff here and get my bicycle repaired and get my camera repaired because it was broken as well. And that's how I ended up in Kuala Lumpur to begin with. And I made a lot of trips down this LRT line to go to those camping stores. The reason I wanted to start at the Masjid Jamek LRT station is because it is one of the few stations on this line that is underground. So we're going to be starting underground here, and then we go up to Pasar Seni, where we started from, and there we go above ground, and then it's above ground the entire way. I'm heading to the Taman Bahagia LRT station. When I get there, I'll turn around and come back. And then I have another errand to run, and I'll tell you about that errand later. So here's the platform for this LRT line, and it's similar to the MRT system that we saw. They have the same trains on both sides, and you figure out which one you're going to take. We are here at Masjid Jamek, and we are going to Taman Bahagia. That's just 7 or 8 stops away. Seemed like a good amount of time for shooting a time-lapse kind of video. I forgot about this little trick to this line, that they have 2 car trains, 2 coach train, like you saw on the sign, and they have 4 coach trains, and you never know which one is coming next. And when a 2 coach train comes, I always skip it because it's too crowded, too many people get on, and there aren't enough coaches. So I just let it go, and then I wait for the 4 coach train to come next. You can see it's pretty crowded, pretty jammed with people. And even from here you can probably tell it's much smaller than the MRT train. The width of it is quite a bit smaller. And I've never been able to figure out why they alternate between 2 coach trains and 4 coach trains, because it never makes any sense to me. The 2 coach train will be jammed and the 4 coach train will be nice and empty. Why not just run all 4 coach trains? I assume it has to do with the cost and it's a budget measure, but still, it offends my sense of logic to do that. And we've reached the front of the train area. Hopefully the 4 coach train will be fairly empty, and I'll be able to stand at the front window and shoot down the tunnel and then along the tracks. Getting close. 4 coach train to Putra Heights. We'll be arriving within 1 minute. Oh, here it is already. Not too bad. Looks like I'll be able to go to the front window. goes my train. At the Taman Bahagia station. Took about 22 or 23 minutes here, so that time lapse should hopefully look pretty cool. Going through downtown was pretty amazing. You start to forget how many huge buildings there are there until you're shooting it with a camera, then you're kind of looking and it's like, wow, it's really quite something. Still at Taman Bahagia. Now I'm turning around and heading straight back to Pasar Seni on the LRT. And I'm going to shoot it in hyper-hyper-hyperspeed. I'm back in my home base, Pasar Seni, where my hostel is located, and I think my day is slowly winding down. I had one other errand to run today, but I think I'm going to put that off to another day. But I will tell you what it is. It's kind of a sad occasion for me. I have to buy a new watch to replace my trusty Casio. Everybody makes fun of me for wearing this watch. I probably had it for 10 years, you know, maybe longer than that. I can't even remember when I bought it. But if I had a lot of money, like a lot of money, I'd buy one of those watches with a barometer and an altimeter and a compass and everything built into it, you know, like one of those real adventurer watches. But if I can't get one of those, the only other thing I need a watch for is to tell me what time it is. And one of these little plastic Casios tells me the time. I look at it, oh, I know the time. And that's all I needed to do. But this one doesn't work anymore. All the buttons are stuck. I can't change the time zone. And if you push one of the buttons in, it starts to beep like a fire alarm or something. So I want to go out into some shopping malls and find the cheapest Casio watch I can find. And that was the errand I was going to go on, but I think I'm going to do that on another day. If you've watched a couple of my videos, or even a few of them, the one thing you've probably never seen me do is eat. And if you gave it any thought, you're probably wondering, what the heck does that guy eat? I never see him eat anything. And that's largely because I don't care that much about food. It's just fuel for me. It's like putting gas in the gas tank. But if it works out, I'm going to take you to one of my favorite restaurants right now. It's right beside my hostel. And it's not really my favorite type of food, but it's my favorite way of eating. It's a buffet. And when I was living in Taiwan, I ate almost every day at a Chinese buffet where you could just get a plate, you go in, get rice, and then you can pick whatever you want from this long table of dishes. And here there's an Indian buffet. Same thing, I get rice, and then I can pick 3 or 4 dishes out of whatever I want. And I love food like that. Simple, easy, you don't really have to mess around. To take you over there and see if I can bring the camera inside and show you my favorite food. And there it is, my favorite restaurant, the Banana Leaf Curry House. And here is the buffet. As far as I know, all the dishes in the middle are vegetarian, and the dishes on the side are meat-based, and they have different prices. And today is a lucky day because they have vegetarian mutton, and yeah, they don't usually have that dish. Rice, please. That's good. Thank you. So I've got my rice, and now I just pick 3 of my favorite dishes. And I have to turn off the camera because I need my hand back. I come here quite often for lunch when I'm in Kuala Lumpur. I have the buffet, and I don't know what you'll think of this meal that I selected, but it's something that I really like. And there we have it. We've got basically rice, tofu, some kind of vegetable, and another kind of vegetable. And what I really need is over here, ice water. Another thing I like about this restaurant is you basically fill up your plate with food, take it to your table, and then the guy comes around, looks at your plate, and he just decides what to charge you. There's no set. They have a general idea of what things cost. If you get only vegetarian dishes, you know, it's below 10 ringgit. If you get meat dishes, it's higher than that, you know. But they basically look at your plate, make a judgment call, and usually works out just fine. Time to eat. I'm so hungry. That's lunch finished. Oh, it was so tasty. I love that place. To be honest, it wasn't really lunch. It's breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I often have just one meal a day, so that meal will probably be my only meal for today. It was more than enough food. It was too much, actually. Couldn't quite finish it all. Got some scary Malaysian rain clouds moving in. I think we're going to get a heavy rain soon. So it's time to head back to the hostel and get inside, quick. So I think that's the end of my day. Heading back to the hostel. Got to get back there before the rain hits. I'm standing outside this temple, which was I showed in a previous video, and my hostel is right around the corner from this temple. So I think I will end the video there. Thank you for coming with me on this day of rambling around Kuala Lumpur. I'm not quite sure what I did today, to be honest. It was a bit of a chaotic day, a disorganized day. But it's the end of the video, and I will see you in the next one. The bonus question for the last video was about birds. Which bird species lives the longest? The answer is the parrot. Certain parrots commonly live for 50 years. Some parrots in captivity have lived for between 80 and 100 years. The bonus question for this video is about the history of Kuala Lumpur. The city of Kuala Lumpur owes its existence to miners who settled here in 1857. What were these miners mining? Were they mining gold, silver, diamonds? Hint, I mention it in the video. Put your answer in the comments below. I'll put what I think is the answer at the end of the next video. I always love walking past this music store on the way back to my hostel. I wouldn't even know what to call this type of music, but it's definitely a type of music, and they're always playing something quite different, quite unusual on this big speaker outside. Let's see what they've got playing right now. that out all of a sudden. I don't know what happened, but you got a taste of it. Travel tip 16. This travel tip is all about this tiny but very important thing for travelers: the SIM card. When a traveler gets to a new country, one of the first things they do is buy a SIM card, activate it in their phone, and buy credit. This can be pretty complicated to do because every country has a different system and there is often a language barrier. But did you know that many telecommunications companies offer an app that you can download to your phone that does all these things? With the app, you can keep track of your credit, your data usage, and you can buy new data packages. And best of all, these apps often have an English version, so there's no language barrier to worry about. So when you go to a new country and get a new SIM card, don't mess around with entering *1238# and then going through the long and complicated menu system. Ask around, find out if there is an app that you can download to do all of this, and life should be smooth sailing. And this is the inside of my hostel, by the way. That's my room there, room 6. This is one of the common area, and front desk here. And my bicycle is in storage up there on the balcony. And you'll see that eventually once I take it down. And since I started the tour, I might as well take you to the kitchen and the other common areas. And this is the kitchen. An outdoor common area for smoking, and all the bathrooms are back here. And then there's an outdoor roof up top there. People go up there to do yoga, and sometimes people sleep up there when it's too hot in the room. Another hallway with more rooms down here. And you can see a lot of the bird artwork along the walls. So it used to be called the bird nest. And that's it. That's where I'm staying right now. It's a nice place for me. I like it.